to the constituency shortly, but the elections have suffered pockets of violence, including a shooting incident, prompting the General Secretary of the MPP, Justin Kodia Frimpong, to warn they may be forced to defend themselves.
From the morning to now, all the stronghold of the MPP, right. There is tension there. There is tension there. You take your time and go from Praso to Enja. Look at what is happening there. The tension that is brewing over all these places. Surprisingly, when you go to NDC stronghold, Pasofiningo, the place is quiet. There is no tension there. And you have men in uniform who are supposed to make sure that there is law and order. How can people come here and be shooting? How can people come here and be slapping people left, right, center? An election that people are going to vote to decide who to be their member of parliament. Right. Does it have to turn into a war? It's an election. People want to intimidate our supporters. People want to scare our supporters from coming out to vote. And that's what is happening. We are expecting the police to do better. We don't want it to get to a point whereby we'll be forced to defend ourselves.
Well, the NDC has also been accusing the MPP of being the instigators of the violence. Listen to the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mensah Fagbande.
We are winning, despite the violence of the MPP. They've shot into the youth organizer's vehicle, but for God, he would have been a dead man. They attacked the vehicle of the National Communication Officer, Sami Jemfi, destroyed and vandalized his vehicle. They attacked the Deputy Communication Officer's vehicle, Malik Basintali. We will not break the law. We will not be violent, but we will defend ourselves.
I keep on hearing they. Which of the MPP people do you know, for which reason you are saying is the MPP?
We have given information to the police. I just saw some military officers, numbering about 6, in a vehicle here. I've confronted them. They've bolted. By the time we called for reinforcement, they were nowhere to be found. Simply because in our agreement with the police, we do not have, as part of our plans, for any joint operation under the circumstances. There could only be a joint deployment where they call for reinforcement if the police cannot contain the situation on the ground. You can see how peaceful this exercise has been. There was no room, there was no basis for us to see military officers on this field. And that any military officer seen is an imposter. And so the NDC will not break the law. The NDC will not take our brothers for granted, but we will not be intimidated. That I must repeat, that the NDC will not be intimidated today, will not be intimidated tomorrow. What happened in Ayawasu, an inch of it will not happen here. We came here in peace, we'll live here in peace. At the end of the day, whoever wins have won. We will accept the verdict of a transparent election. We will accept the verdict that is representing the will of the people. But when we would have to be subjected to any form of intimidation, that will not happen. I am very confident that from the look of things, by 6 p.m., the MDC will retain Honorable Jechikwesin as a member of Parliament for Assin. Thank you.
Have you reported the matter to the police?
We have done so and given them evidence.
Well, the NDC reported the incident to the police. We heard from the General Secretary himself, Fifi Kwete, who says he's happy with the conduct of the police so far.
I would say largely the police have shown to be very professional in all the places we've been. There's really not been any major incident. We pick up a few, but we're yet to get a confirmation. We've heard, for example, that there is a military officer that has been busted. We picked that news. Yet to get a full confirmation of that. I guess one of your sister stations must have picked it up or something like that. That would be worrying. But then the news is that it's the police that arrested him. So we show that the police clearly is very determined to ensure that the right thing is done. So we hope that continues all the way.
We've also been getting an assessment from the Electoral Commission on the ground. We've been speaking to the Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Siribo Kweku, who tells us that apart from the reported incidents of the shooting and some vandalism, this has been largely peaceful.
But for the complaints that we received about some people attacking some vehicles, The police is working on this. I wouldn't want to go into details because I don't have the details. But for those reports, I think it would have been so far very peaceful. Because the issue is that people are going to take decisions, and decisions are through their camp. So there's no need for physical attack on anybody. So to me, I get sad when I hear of violence during decisions. But as I said, that is with the police. So for now, I don't have any evidence about anything. But if it is true, then it's official.
I want to take you live now to Assin North, where my colleague Ohiming Teria is standing by. Ohiming, you've been chasing down this report of the shooting incident and reports that some people may have been injured in the process. What have you managed to confirm?
Yes, sir. Evans, I can confirm that one of the NDC's agents at the old Praso College Church polling center was assaulted. He was attacked, and it took the police intervention to save him from that particular situation. A while ago, he told me that even though, despite the attack on him, he continued the process and then he remained the NDC's agent at the polling center here. Though he now feels there's a headache, but for him, the most important thing in his life was to protect the interests of the National Democratic here. So once the ballots are counted, then he can take care of his personal health. A while ago, I was at one of the polling stations here at the Assin Praso, and the information I picked from an eyewitness, which was also confirmed by several sources, was that a group of stoutly built men came to the presence of the polling center, and outside the polling center, they engaged in some sort of a scuff, and one of them pulled a pump action gun, shot several times at a gentleman they believe was an NDC sympathizer, but unfortunately, that is the word they use. They say, unfortunately, the pellets did not penetrate. So, in as much as the attackers continue to shoot at the unidentified NDC supporter, none of the pellets did enter. So, it was later on that another group of stoutly built men came to his rescue, and he was whisked away. And so the information I picked was that the attack first happened here at the old Praso College police station, and it's just a confirmation that I had from Fred Agbenyo, who confirmed, and also I spoke to the NDC's party agent here, who had bruises on his face, and he says he will go to the hospital after the counting of ballots. I would say just a while ago, the counting process has ended, and the presiding member is about announcing the results. When the counting ended, it was greeted by a wild applause from residents who have gathered here in numbers to catch a glimpse of what is happening. Perhaps they can be part of history in the Assin North constituency. That is happening now. The presiding officer is announcing the results, Evans.
And stay with us, Ohiming, who is in Assin Praso for us tonight. Will come to you, give us a sense of what the counting is telling us at this particular polling station. But the police in the last few minutes have issued a statement on these pockets of violence. And my colleague Maxwell is in the studio with him. Maxwell, what's the police saying about these pockets?
They said voting progressed smoothly this morning, but they recorded some incidents, including the alleged shooting into the air by someone. They are stating that no vehicle or person has been shot at within the constituency. I'm sure that's in reference to some videos that have been circulating. They say that all the recorded incidents are being investigated, and police have also arrested some suspects who are in custody assisting with investigations. They say adequate police personnel have also been deployed throughout the polling centers.
Indeed, we can confirm that indeed some individuals have been arrested already by the police. Will try and get some more clarity. We understand some of them may have been granted bail as well. But I want to bring in Heming stays with me because we want to talk to you about also the counting that is already underway across the constituency tonight. I want to bring in the NDC's National Youth Organizer, Mr. George Parry, who joins us right now on the telephone line from Assin North. Mr. Parry, thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Yeah, good evening, Ivan. How are you?
I'm doing great. From what we're hearing, you may have been a victim of some sort of attack. What happened?
Ivan, I don't even know what happened. I had gone round to do my normal monitoring. Just when we were about leaving the polling station, a Toyota Haze van came to park in front of my vehicle. I heard one of the guys ask, "Where is Opariado?" So I turned around. I was on phone. So I turned around to find out what was happening. And 3 guys got out of the van. One came straight to the windshield. The other one came to the side of the car where I was seated, and one went behind the car. He used a crowbar to break my windshield. The other one used a stone to break my glass, the passenger side where I was sitting in the front seat. And another one went behind the car. Whatever he used, I didn't see, but what I realized was that the back windshield was broken, and that is what happened. It was without any provocation. But earlier on in the day, myself and Chief Viney, my former deputy national organizer, had arrested. Okay, so there was a young man dressed in police uniform in Breku, in military uniform in Breku, who was arousing voters. So we drew the attention of the police, and he was arrested. We had followed that arrest to the police station and made sure the young man was detained. I want to believe strongly that it was as a result of that some information, my car number was given out to this young man, heavily built young man who were in the Toyota Haze, to be known to be NDC and NPP faithfuls, and were asked to come and attack me. I also said as a form of intimidation, but unfortunately they didn't intimidate anybody. They rather emboldened us to work harder for the NDC. And I can confidently tell you that the results that are trickling in, the NDC is clearly in the lead and we are winning this election.
I see we'll come to the elections and its potential outcome very shortly. And I believe this was reported to the police?
Yes, I went to the police command to lodge a complaint. And so we saw some of them. We even got phone numbers and other things. So clearly, we are hoping the police is going to pick them up and then deal with them. But the police have done a wonderful job with this process. For the first time, you've seen proper professionalism on the part of the police, and I commend them for what they've been able to do.
In fact, we've seen that statement, and the Dampari himself, the IGP, is on the ground ensuring that this indeed is handled professionally, and you've confirmed that. In fact, your General Secretary also did exactly that. Now, talking about polls have closed, you saying already that you're winning and you're in the lead?
I can tell you for free that it's going to be a landslide victory. The results that are coming in are very encouraging. I believe by 6:30 p.m., we should be able to put out our results, and we should be calling our results for justification. He's going to retain the seat as a member of parliament for the good people of Assin North.
And you're certain this is not another we are in a comfortable lead moment?
No, this is not a comfortable lead moment. Results that are coming in so far, I've seen at least 20 polling stations, and the indications are very clear. We've benchmarked them and compared them to our previous results in previous elections, and clearly, justification is going to carry the day.
And you say this is going to be a landslide?
Of course, this is going to be a landslide.
Thank you very much. That's the NDC's National Youth Organizer there. Let me go back to my colleague on the ground, Heming Teria, who's on the line with me. Heming, you are at the polling station right now. Tell us what's happening there. That polling station may have finished counting. You're giving us a sense of what the outcome there is. Hello, Heming. Do we have Heming on the telephone line? Hello, Heming is with me there on the ground. Heming, can you hear me? Okay, we don't have Heming's attention right now. We'll try and bring in also Kodunyako, who is also there for us tonight to give us a sense of what is happening as far as the counting is concerned. You've already heard from the National Youth Organizer of the NDC saying already that they've seen results from more than 20 polling stations, and they believe that they are in a comfortable lead and winning. Kodunyako is joining me right now. He's at the Constituency Collation Center. And Kojo, what can you report from that center?
Well, so Evans, the results are trickling in very thick and fast. I have two of them now, and Charles Opoku is leading. So at the Methodist Primary B, Charles Opoku polled 209 votes, as against 201 votes for George Achikwesin. At the Catholic Primary School B, Charles Opoku polled 172 votes, as against James Achikwesin, who managed 144. But the NDC supporters here are jubilating. They are jubilating for the fact that they say that the margins are not too high. They are limited. They are very small, and so they still have the hope and confidence that George Achikwesin will be able to win the election when the eventual declaration is done by the Electoral Commission. So both supporters, but the MPP is a bit restrained, while the NDC is on wild. I mean, they are tooting their horns, they are blowing vuvuzela and all of that. So we await for the outcome of the other polling centers that are dotted around us.
Just confirming again, the group jubilating is the NDC.
So let me run by you. Methodist Primary B, Charles Opoku polled 209 votes, as against George Achikwesin, who polled 201. At the Catholic Primary B polling center, Charles Opoku polled 172 votes, as against 144 by George Achikwesin.
And you were telling us earlier that as far as jubilation is concerned, the NDC group seemed to be very jubilant.
Interestingly, so the NDC is a party that has started jubilating. In fact, they have gathered here and they have brought some brass bands and they are dancing to it. I do not know the dynamics for which they have started jubilating very early, but for the two polling stations that I have confirmed that the declaration has been done at the polling centers, it is Charles Opoku that is winning. But they see that the margin is very slim for Charles Opoku to succeed in beating George Achikwesin.
You are at the Constituency Collation Center. This is where all the 99 polling centers will bring their results for final collation. Is the place ready to receive all these polling station results? And I can hear in the background people already jubilating and singing and chanting.
Yeah, so they are singing and chanting, oh yeah, Kwesin Beba, and that is the kind of chant they are doing currently. But the Constituency Collation Center is getting set. Now that the polling centers dotted around us, they are almost done with the declaration of the results at the polling station level. They will now move to the collation or Constituency Collation Center to begin the collation, because it is now that some of the results will be coming from the hinterland. In fact, there were places that were almost inaccessible. They had to go there with some tricycles in order to deliver the election materials. And so we are in for a long haul. The day is still very young as far as this by-election is concerned. And we'll be here to give you up-to-the-minute details here of the happenings at Assin North constituency.
And Kojo, you've been talking to the Electoral Commission. You've been talking to the Director of Electoral Services. Earlier in the course of the day, there were reports of vote buying and attempts to induce voters. You got a reaction from them.
When we spoke with the Director of Elections, he indicated that what he indicated actually was a high turnout they are expecting. I'm talking about Dr. Kweku, who indicated that from how things are panning out, this place will be one of the places that they will witness high level of voter turnout as far as he is concerned. Because where he went, and at the time he went, and the number of people that had voted, he feels that things have been done very well, and then the interest that has been generated around this by-election has really gone very well.
And this is Sir Kwaku talking about that concern you guys put to him as far as the vote buying concerns today are concerned.
These are infractions on the laws. So if somebody is going contrary to the law, the person should be reported to the police. Because if the police don't have the trust, who are trust with the power to investigate and the rest. If we report to the Electoral Commission, we can't do anything about it because that is not our work. So once that infractions are happening, if you inform us and you have evidence, we can help you to report to the police. But the other thing is that once such things are happening, you report to the police. Police will go, if they need to arrest, they will arrest and do the necessary investigation so that if they can establish the truth or otherwise of them.
Well, we're talking about the issue with vote buying. The strong team of coalition of domestic election observers, CODEO observers, are on the ground right now, monitoring and gathering evidence as far as these allegations are concerned, as far as those they can actually confirm, and also monitoring the elections. We'll get your thoughts if you stay with us here on your election headquarters. And could you tell me, you've been talking to the Electoral Commission. What's your estimation as far as bringing this whole process to closure? When do they estimate we will get to know the final results?
Well, so from their account, now that everything is almost ready and the collation center is set, as soon as the results from the villages, those places that are very far, but those that are very close to the highway, the results are almost ready because from the 5 polling centers that are dotted around me currently, the declarations have been made at the polling center level. It's left for the results to get to the collation center where the actual collation of the results from these polling centers would begin. So they are estimating that by 8 o'clock, they would be inching closer to declaration if the declaration or all the results have not even come in by then.
And you've been moving from one polling station to the other. Give me your own assessment now that polls have closed, results from polling stations coming in. We've heard the report, the disturbances, allegations of vote buying. What has been your own assessment of what you've seen?
Well, this is a unique situation as far as this by-election is concerned. The accusations started very early where they started pointing fingers at a particular building where some supporters perceived to be NDC were pointing their hands to a particular building where they suspected that the MPP had agents in and were sharing money. And so it led to some heated exchanges. And at a point, some people exchanged blows here. And I witnessed the blows. It was an interesting spectacle to behold. So that prompted the police to get to that particular building. And then when they went there, we did not really get any reasonable outcome out of that one. We don't know whether they went to meet such persons there or they met them and there was nothing like as complaints. But there have been, these accusations. So I saw one individual from the MPP accusing precisely the regional secretary or central regional secretary of the MPP, mentioning some names of people he saw doing his rounds, doling out money, dishing out money to some people, and he said that he is calling their names out. But for the NDC, they are unable to put names to the people they allege were vote buying or were giving money to people to induce them in order to vote for the NPP. And so that has been the situation here. But it's also another interesting spectacle that after voting, this place has been filled with the crowd of supporters from both parties. They never departed this place after voting. In fact, there are a number of media houses that have surrounded here, and they've been cheering their political figures up. When George Achikwesin came out, draped in white, all white attire, you saw the crowd. They milled through the way, and then he went to vote. And then when he exited, it was like another mammoth rally, a float of a sort. They milled through the principal street that this is the man they want to retain as the MP for this area. But for currently, what is happening, it's fascinating because 3 of the polling centers that I am aware of, Charles Opoku has won, but it is the NDC supporters that are currently jubilating. So I think they may know something that we are not aware of, and so we'll get the nitty-gritty of why they are jubilating, and then we'll give you up to the minute details.
Thank you very much, Richard Kojonyako. And earlier when we spoke to the National Youth Organizer, he also sounded that same word of optimism that they are in a comfortable lead. We're yet to hear from the NPP side. A lot of them very, very busy right now and unable to come to the phone at the moment, but we'll get their own reaction for you here on your election headquarters. I want to stay with us here on your election headquarters. Newsnight is focused exclusively on the Assin North by-elections as counting is currently underway. You want to join us for our converged coverage here on your election headquarters from 7, where we bring you that result show. And then we have the post-election analysis show where Winston will join me also all the way from 7 till we get the results and break it down for you. Stay with us here on your election headquarters.
You ever buy credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before? Make I tell you about Vodafone's demo promo. See, anytime you recharge a demo, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now you be high tech, so you use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back into your Vodafone cash account. We'll reload here, but then you enter. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana CD or more in Vodafone's demo promotion and receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone demo promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
I've got Bell back and I won't let go.
My name is Nanama McBrown. Many people think I get what I want anytime because I am popular. No, that is not true. It is because me and Kasano, I like the best, and when I find it, I stick to it. I have found Bell Pack Tea Roll, and I'm stuck with it. It is soft but not weak, strong but not hard. It is just perfect. Bell Pack Tea Roll is smooth and gentle on the skin. Same as Bell Pack Kitchen Towel. It cleans in one wipe. You can soak, squeeze, and clean again. One Bell Pack Kitchen Towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today and experience the perfect paper tissue. Say pocket tissue, table napkins, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Paper chow. Bell Pack is simply the best. Bell Pack, just perfect.
To be a Bell Pack distributor, call 055-11-44400. Another quality product from Bell Aqua.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
Wouldn't you prefer an apartment hotel? One that offers the utmost convenience of a boutique hotel while offering the idyllic comfort of your own private home. Oasis Park Residences offers luxury studios, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, both for short and long-term rental at competitive rates. Our sky swimming pool, gourmet outdoor restaurant, and a fully equipped gym rest on a breathtaking rooftop with panoramic views of the city. Oasis Park Residences, located at Shiashi, Tetekwashi, 10 minutes from the international airport, is the ideal place for all your accommodation needs. Why don't you give us a call on 020-4343-009 or visit our website at oasisparkresidences.com to make your reservations. Oasis Park Residences, more than a home.
Live on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. This is your election headquarters. And tonight, gunshots in the air, pockets of violent incidents, injuries and arrests. That's the initial police report on the Assin North by-election as sorting and counting begins in the constituency after official close of polls. Meanwhile, early jubilations underway by supporters of NDC's James Jatukwesing as counting begins in some polling stations and ends in others.
In the NDC, 201. So difference 8.
Okay, so difference 8. It means that Charles Opoku won that place.
Yeah.
Okay.
What we know, say, I want your Charles Opoku stronghold. And it said your question to me pulling out 201 votes. That is difference 8 votes. And I just said your question will renew, baby.
So that explains the excitement. Okay.
Well, governing NPP also accusing opposition NDC of intimidation tactics in the Assin North by-election as the party says the NDC has created a hostile environment to disenfranchise some voters earlier.
We've seen a couple of them going around. One to me is also carrying tax. They go to NDC strongholds and attack people.
We'll get to hear also from the majority leader, Osechi Mensah, who says the results will be very close, but NPP will snatch the seats from the NDC.
We spent some time, about 2 days, in the communities along the main roads. Those are major settlements. My impression is that the NPP is on top in those areas.
We have details as one of the few NDC MPs who attended sitting today after his arrival from the Assin North accused the NPP of massive vote buying, but insists the NDC will retain the seat.
I was also there on Saturday and up to Sunday. I also went to some of the villages, and if you ask, I would say we are also ahead of them.
Plus, the abrupt end of parliamentary sitting today after almost all MPs absented themselves to be part of the crucial Assin North by-election.
So, for the questions, I guess we stand the questions down and deal with just the presentation of papers.
The House is accordingly adjourned till Thursday, June 29th, 2023 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.
That and more in your election headquarters special edition of News Night tonight, focusing on the Assin North by-election that has just ended, counting, sorting underway, plus early jubilations. You can join us with a hashtag News Night or your election headquarters if you're watching us live on Facebook, social media platforms. We are also on myjoyonline.com. And don't forget, at the top of the hour 7, we'll be crossing over. So the team at your election headquarters will be on the Joy News channel. We are with you till the last result is counted and the declaration is done. We are on air, we are on radio, online and on television. We'll start off your election headquarters this evening. Tonight, there's been gunshots in the air. There have been pockets of violent incidents. There have been injuries and arrests. That's the initial police report on the Assin North by-election as sorting and counting begins in the constituency after official close of polls. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba has a copy of the police statement that's been issued a while ago on the initial assessment of the by-election today. What does it say, Maxwell?
Emefa, it says voting within the Assin North constituency commenced this morning and progressed as expected in all polling stations across the constituency. The police says it, however, recorded pockets of incidents, including an alleged incident of an individual shooting into the air. It clarifies and says that we wish to state that no person or vehicle has been shot at within the constituency. All the recorded incidents are being investigated, and police have also arrested some suspects who are in their custody assisting with investigations. It concludes by saying that adequate police personnel have been deployed throughout the constituency to ensure security, law and order for the remaining period of the election and beyond.
Okay, so that's the initial police statement. It doesn't talk about the number of arrests exactly, does it?
No, it is silent on the number of people who have been arrested. gathered.
And what exactly the offense were? We did not have details of that as well.
We do not have details of that as well.
Okay, we are watching the police Facebook page and social media platforms. For obvious reasons, the police does not speak to the media, so we are unable to get to the police to ask further questions in terms of the report that we've gathered all day from the Assin North constituency during this by-election. But my colleague Maxwell Ababa is watching that space for us, and when we get anything new from the police, he will bring that to us. But meanwhile, there's early jubilation underway by supporters of the NDC's James Achikwesi as counting ends in some polling stations. Richard Kojonyako caught up with some of them. Listen.
Oh, as I said, so far, we say question. NDC, oh, but then you have a police station now. George Achikwesi. No, but
so no, Judge Obo MPP ball NDC with 8, MPP 209 in the NDC onya 201. So difference 8.
Okay, so difference 8. It means that Charles Opoku won that place. Okay.
What we know, say, I want your Charles Opoku stronghold. And it said your question to me pulling out 201 votes. That is difference 8 votes. And I just said your question will renew baby.
So that explains the excitement. Okay, so what these people are essentially telling me is that the police station behind me, it is Charles Opoku that was declared the winner. In fact, they put out a figure. We are unable to confirm the figure right now, but what they tell us is that Charles Opoku polled 209 votes, whilst Joe Kwesi polled 201 votes. But they indicate that that polling station is supposed to be the stronghold of Charles Opoku, and for Joe Kwesi to have done very well in that polling station, it gives them a sense that the election will tilt in favor of George Achikwesi. That explains their excitement. Mamma Offroad.
Offroad had this attack commander one.
Now, but it's when you are
me many if you come as and buy. And this is Damakumem. Opiani me and this. Me a national map coordinator. Judge and a man.
This NDC we about we are.
Why we know
for then to the original so police station of FIBA and NDC has.
Why we
need NDC has.
This year we know. And so I almost say a better. Me a this at my children Siano. Me na make a children then a children make a children Yanko so want children Siano. Hey, and I want it. Yes, Yanko Domi. Okay. Yes. Your mama so about from the farm. Okay. MPP Nibia TV John Mama. Okay. Mama Casancho. John Mama or Abutre 2016. What we need your pub to 1% Ghana best centi. What the Mao 2020 sir. And can I go for the company?
Okay, so this is Adiza. She says she comes from Kumasi. She came here to witness the proceedings here, and she feels that the NDC is winning, and she, in her own capacity, she's tied the reins and is never going to reign, and we are going to witness some smooth election. The outcome will be before all of us. So.
Well, so that's a Richard Kojonyako's interaction with some supporters on the ground just before I came on air. But thankfully, Richard Kojonyako and Ohiming Terrier are men on the ground, and they've joined us on the phone with more. So I'll start with you, Richard, because of your interaction with some supporters. I'm wondering, really, what is this early jubilation about? And the jubilation continues. Richard, can you hear me? Okay, I'll check on Richard Kojonyako shortly. But Ohiming, are you there? Okay, I'm sure you can hear me now, Ohiming. So paint a picture of the situation to us as you see it in Assin North.
Yes, Emefa. I'm currently at Assin Castle, where some supporters of the National Democratic Congress have taken the street because they say for the very first time, the NDC has won at the polling station here for the very first time. Is one of the strongholds of the New Patriotic Party. So this particular polling station we are talking about here is the DCJHSA, where the NPP Charles Opoku polled 164 as against 178 by the NDC against the accusation. So supporters of the National Democratic Congress have taken to the streets, and their activities or their celebrations are being monitored by the police men and women who are also stationed here. They are the ones who provided security at the polling centers here. Let me run you through some of the results. As they were being declared by the Electoral Commission. At the old Assin Roman Catholic Church polling station, Dennis Senelu of the NPP polled 3 in the accusation of the NPP 124 and Charles Opoku of the NPP 233. And then I also have the BCJHSC NPP in the accusation 185 and Charles Opoku of the NPP 195. And so these are the results I have so far here. I'll be moving to the other centers and also to the coalition center at the Breku Roman Catholic Church to bring you more updates.
Well, Ohiming, stay with me and let me check on Richard Kojonyako as well. I know he's been in Assin Breku, amongst others, checking on results from some of the 99 polling stations in the Assin North constituency. Richard, I saw your interaction, or heard also your interaction with some supporters who've been jubilating early because of some results they've seen from some polling stations. Tell us the situation. Jubilation still on?
Yes, so it's just like a street carnival now. A lot of people are joining in the jubilation. It seems that they can't be bothered. They've heard some of the results from the hinterland and other things, and so that informs their decision to jubilate like this. So let me run by you some of the results that I have here. Breku Methodist JHSA, NBC Georgia Accusation 143. MPP Charles Opoku 197. We go to Breku Methodist Primary B, NPP Charles Opoku 174, LPG 0, and NDC 145. We go to Methodist Primary A, NPP Charles Opoku 209, NDC's James Dachifation 201. Breku Methodist JHSA, NDC's George Dachifation 143, LPG 0, and MPP 197. And so these are the results that I currently have in hand. But a lot of them have come in, and then we are going to get them and then get them over to our viewers. But the jubilation is still on. I can see some leading figures of the NDC. I can see the Central Regional Communications Officer also joining in the celebration. Initially, it was just a few of the people that were jubilating, but now it has assumed some kind of a big proportion, and the jubilation is very wild here. And you can see that my voice has even been drowned by the noise that is currently ongoing here.
Well, we can tell that. But Richard, you've given us about how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. You've given me 4 polling stations so far. I heard you give some also on Top Story, or Hemming has been giving some already. From what you've seen so far, in your estimation, how many results do we have, provisional results from the polling stations, you'd say?
Well, so there are 99 of the polling centers here in the Assin Breku constituency. So we are waiting for them. But you know that these political party agents, they have their agents all over, dotted all over the polling centers, and they may know what we do not know. But some of the figures may not be confirmed yet. But now we are heading to the constituency collation center where the entire action is. That is where we will actually know whether NDC's James Dachikwesin has won or Charles Opoku has won. So that is what we are going to do. But a lot of them have not been confirmed, and so we will get them, confirm them at the polling station level, and then we'll get to the constituency collation center.
Help us understand the dynamics, Richard, because earlier, even though some of them were jubilating, they insist or they maintain that Charles Opoku had won that particular constituency. But for them, because of the margin, they feel that it means that Jachikwesin would do a better job in other, polling stations. You understand them better and help us to get that particular understanding as to why they are still jubilating in spite of the fact that Charles Opoku has been winning in some of these polling stations.
Emefa, so earlier when I had an interaction with the communication director of the MPP, Richard Anyagba, he indicated that their eyes are keenly on the Assin Breku polling centers here, and that is why they have some confidence that should they win majority of the polling centers here, they are going to carry the day. But it is a kind of switch as to because they appear to be winning more of the polling centers here, but the NDC is rather jubilating because they feel that the gap that has been given them is not that huge. But there are also calls that are being made from other polling stations, from the hinterland, from places that are not like Assin Praso, Assin Enja, Assin Akonfode, or Assin Praso, and so that may inform their decision to jubilate. Maybe they may have done the collation already by themselves, and so they know that James Jachikwesin has won, and that is why they have powder. I think they prepared some powder from their home that they know definitely James Jachikwesin will win. And so if you come here, we have all been smeared of powder, and it is an interesting spectacle we are all witnessing here.
Enjoy the powder a bit more, Richard, but I'm sure that you are heading to the collation center like you said earlier. You've been interacting with the EC as well. Do we get the indication that all is set?
Yes, the indication from the Electoral Commission is that all is set. The collation center is set. We are heading towards that direction now. And the day is so young, even though it's past 6, but for us here, the day is pretty young and it is very, very pregnant, about 8 months pregnant. And so we are waiting for the baby to be delivered.
I hope it's not like your stomach though. But Richard, let's talk about, we'll get to the interaction with the EC shortly. But first though, generally we've been seeing the police report on some gunshots in the air, pockets of violence, incident amongst others. Really, you've been on the ground together with Ohiming Terrier. What will be your overall description of the by-election today as it ends?
Well, Emefa, I think the election generally has been very smooth, except for some snippets of chaos that we witnessed. But these chaotic situations were not witnessed at the polling centers themselves, but outside the polling centers. And so the allegations that were made, the exchange of blows, the heated exchanges were all made outside the precincts of the polling centers. One polling station, I could count more than 12 police personnel stationed there. You heard that someone who posed as a security person or a military man was accosted by the police. We are yet to identify who that person is. Another was also arrested. So that leaves us with some kind of, an 80% success. The police have been on the ground and they have averted in many instances some situations that would have led to some chaotic and catastrophic ends.
I'll allow you to catch a drink or two, Richard. We'll get back to you for more from Assin North as sorting and counting are underway. I think sorting is over now. Counting really underway. Some results trickling in. And my colleagues Richard Kujonyaku and Ohiming Terrier are all over it for us, and we'll be getting into the details. This is your election headquarters. Now, let me get back to my colleague Ohiming Terrier, also monitoring the situation elsewhere in Assin North as voting has ended. We know sorting, counting underway. Sorting has ended, counting underway. And let me remind you that at the top of the hour 7, we'll be bringing you the results show on the Joy News channel. It will also be on Joy 99.7 FM, also on myjoyonline.com, and of course covering our social media platforms. My colleague Evans Mensah, Winston Ngamwa, Samuel Kojobrace, Blessed Soga, Joseph Akable, Elton Brobe will all be on for you till we get the final results. Now it's time to hear from the Director of Electoral Services of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Srebo Kweku. He's been interacting with my colleague Ohiming Teria. Two key issues that he raised with him: the issue about turnout today, and then also the concerns about vote buying and then violence. You can listen to Dr. Srebo Kweku.
So far, so good. On the part of the Electoral Commission, our materials go up to the various polling stations by 6 o'clock. And as a result, each of the 99 polling stations was able to start at 7 as required. So far, we have not had any issues at the polling station with respect to the ongoing election. The officials are doing their professional work. The BVD machine is working. There have not been any shortage of materials. There have not been any variance at each of the polling stations. So far, I would say that it's good. And the polling stations that we visited before 12 o'clock, almost all of them had more than 50% voter turnout. So we are expecting that by the time we close at 5, the numbers will have increased and possibly go beyond that of the Apawu election. But for the complaints that we received about some people attacking some vehicles, the police is working on that. I wouldn't want to go into it because I don't have the details. But for those reports, I think it would have been so far very peaceful. Because the issue is that people are going to take decisions, and decisions are through their camp. So there's no need for physical attack on anybody. So to me, I get sad when I hear of violence during decisions. But as I said, that is with the police. So for now, I don't have any evidence about anything, but if it is true, then it's official.
So that's the Director of Electoral Services for the Electoral Commission, Dr. Srebo Kweku's interaction with my colleague Ohiming Teria earlier. I'll get back to my colleague Ohiming Teria and, of course, Richard Kujunyako as well for the situation as results begin to trickle in. We're hearing provisional results. They are also heading to the Coalition Centre to bring us the entire results as we have it or as they come in at the Coalition Centre. Remember, this is your election headquarters and we're with you all the way till the final declaration. Will it be James Jachikwesing or Charles Opoku in the Assin North by-election that's just ended and counting underway? Let me bring in the Director of Communications, the Communications Officer of the NDC, I beg your pardon, Sami Jemfi, joining us. He's been in Assin North for how many days now? Hello, Sami Jemfi. Okay, it appears that we've just lost Sami Jemfi. For obvious reasons, they are monitoring the situation everywhere. So very busy. All the political parties are very busy right now with counting underway. But let me check on Sami Jemfi again. Yes, thankfully we have Sami Jemfi. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. Mr. Jemfi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I was wondering how many days you've been pitching camp in Assin North.
Come on.
I'm wondering how many days you've been pitching camp in Assin North.
Assin North is my new home. I've been living here for the past 1 month because of this crucial by-election, which was a must-win for the great NDC.
I'm sure the people received you well, did they?
Of course they did, and you can see that in the results that have been announced so far. The Electoral Commission had the over 73 polling stations that whose results have come out so far.
Okay, so it means that from your collation, you've seen 73 results so far. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and that was with 73 results from 99 polling stations as of the last 10 minutes. So I'm sure by the time I check again with our collation room, we would have had more.
And that's putting the NDC in the lead, you'd say?
Not just in the lead, that is an understatement. It puts us in a resounding lead, a lead of more than 3,000 votes. I'm out of 73. For the 73 out of 99 polling stations, Mr. Charles Opoku, who is number one on the ballot, has 9,200 votes. The LPG candidate has 58 votes. And James Jachikwesing, the chosen one, has 12,570 votes. That is more than 3,000 votes difference.
Well, these
so
are
we
results
are still expecting results from about 26 polling stations.
Okay, we'll be waiting for the Electoral Commission's results as well as my men on the ground also collate the results. But let's talk about the by-election in general. All day, you've been monitoring the situation, moving from one polling station to the other. I'm sure visiting all 99 polling stations. What would be your description of today's by-election, you'd say?
Well, it's been historic. It's been monumental. It's been exciting. It's been challenging. It's been everything. But at the end of it all, God has glorified his chosen son for the people of Assin of Honorable James Jachikwisin from the trend of the results we have seen so far. I'm excited because the results clearly shows us that hard work pays. And that is what I'm excited about. I'm excited because from the results we have seen so far, it appears clearly that the people of Assin decided to stand by the truth, to stand by what is fair and what is just. And that is what is manifesting so far from the results that have been announced. I'm expecting a more resounding victory than what Honorable Kwisin had in the 2020 elections, because I've been to almost everywhere with him as a campaign manager, and warm reception we got there and assurances we got from the voters, the determination of the people of Assin to right the wrongs, perpetrated against them by the Supreme Court of Ghana and by other institutions in this country was very clear to us. And so we are not surprised at all. The process has not ended. Voting has ended. Counting has ended in some places. Counting is ongoing in other places. So we are not jubilating yet. We want to receive all 99 results. We want to get all our 99 pink sheets. We want to move to the constituency collation center and ensure that the will of the people of Assin as expressed at the polls today stand. So we are calling on all NDC supporters in Breku and its environs, Dansame, Prauswas, and Panay, to move to the coalition center of the Electoral Commission for this by-election, which is the youth center at Assin Breku, so that we can all monitor the coalition process in a very transparent manner. That is where we are now.
Well, so in my interaction with my colleagues, I realized that there are some supporters already jubilating because I'm sure they've seen the results from your coalition centers as well. Over 70 results out of the 99. You're hopeful that nothing will change, considering that we're expecting more results.
It's clear. It's very clear. The signs are clear if you look at the trend. Places we have never won in the history of this constituency. Kushia, which is the stronghold of the MPP, 5 polling stations. You aggregate the votes from Kushia, and the NDC this time around has won through God's chosen son for the people of Assin of Honorable James Jachikwisin. So the trend is clear. Even in MPP strongholds, we are winning some polling stations in Praso. We have won polling stations in Dansame that we have never won before. We've won polling stations in Akomfode we have never won before. We are closing their margin of victories in places they are winning, and we are winning in our strongholds with significant margins.
Okay. Well, earlier in our interaction,
I don't see how the trend will change. But what I want to tell our supporters is that this is not jubilation time. This is a time for vigilance.
Okay.
And so let's follow the process through to the very end. What we are doing is that we are providing them updates from our collated results. But until the EC declares Honorable James Jachikwisin as a member of parliament elect for the good people of Assin, we are not jubilating. So nobody should jubilate. Let's move to the coalition center at Assin Breku.
Well, earlier in our interaction with Richard Ahiagba, the communications director of the NPP, he mentioned some form of intimidation tactics on the part of the
intimidation
NDC.
Tactics from the NDC? Well, I think it needs a psychiatric examination. Intimidation tactics from us, NDC?
Why would he
serious?
I think that's an unfair statement, is it not?
No, I think it needs a psychiatric examination. Have you talked to your people on the ground? Who has been? We have decided not to talk about that because you see, no matter the people they maim, they attack, they beat, no matter the guns they have brought here, the AK-47s that they are wielding openly in the streets, no matter the monies they share, if they like, they can empty the vaults of the central bank. They will still lose. and they are losing big. So this is not a time for us to be lamenting and complaining about it. We are not intimidated. They have tried everything possible to suppress the will of the people of this country, as they did at Ayawa's West Wagon and as they did in the 2020 general elections. But the people of Assin have been resolute. Check Breku, the capital. So far, we've won out of 10 out of 11 polling stations in Breku, the most populous, voting area or geographical area in the constituency. And everybody who understands the electoral dynamics of Assin will tell you that Breku is a decider. So you don't need to be a pollster or an expert in elections to know where this election is going to.
Okay.
But we know what the NPP is capable of. We are not putting nothing beyond them. So we are vigilant and we are telling our people, don't jubilate. Come to the coalition center. Come peacefully. Just stand there and monitor the process. That is all that is required of us as members and citizens of this country.
That's the NDC's Sami Jimfi. And this is your election headquarters. We are on radio, we are on television, we are online and on all our social media platforms. You can hit us with the hashtag ElectionHQ. And this is a special edition of Newsnight. And at the top of the hour 7, I keep announcing the team will be coming your way with the results show. And it will be live on radio, television, online, and all our social media platforms. You ought to watch out for it. But earlier also, my colleague Richard Kujunyako interacted with some supporters. It looks like the entire country is in Assin North as we speak. He's been interacting with Cynthia Morrison and Collins Amankwa on one side, also with some NDC bigwigs as well. We'll be hearing their interaction earlier before voting ended in Assin North. But my colleague Ohiming Teria is on another line, checking the situation as more results continue to trickle in. Richard Kujunyako on his way to the coalition center. But let me catch up with Ohiming Teria. Ohiming, I'm sure you've been visiting more polling stations and getting more results. What does it look like?
Emefa, unfortunately, it's been a bit difficult moving from one community to the other because the NDC supporters have hit the road in some instances, causing some artificial traffic on the way. So with counting and announcing of results at the polling, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. So any delay in that regard means that you are likely to miss the results. So it's been celebrations upon celebrations whilst moving from Assin Praso, the border town that shares boundary on the borders of Ashanti and Central region, to Dansame, to Asempaneye, through to Assin Breku here. It's been celebrations from NDC supporters, some who are also driving in a way that seems to block traffic. So I would say that getting some results has been a bit difficult. But I'm also moving to the coalition center where we can bring more details, more updates for our listeners.
Okay, that's my colleague Ohiming Teria doing a good job on the ground all day for us from yesterday, himself, and then Richard Kujunyako on the ground for us on this. But we can hear from the governing New Patriotic Party earlier accusing the NDC of using intimidation tactics in the Assin North by-election. Communications Director of the party, Richard Ahiagba, says the NDC has created a hostile environment to discourage voters from coming out to vote.
There seems to be there's an appearance of that, and if you are here, you would conclude the same thing. The idea generally is that in our strongholds, I think there are two instances that I'm very familiar with at this time that concluded when I was there. The NDC is mobilized in a very systematic way to create a hostile environment, preventing people to come out and vote. And as I speak to you, there's a polling station for the last 1 hour. Initially, they started coming out of 11 or so, or 10 something when I got here. They had voted about 270 something. And last time I went to check, it was only risen up to 282. that tells you that people are being prevented from coming out to vote because of the hostile environment created. And we think that this is intentional deployment of the NDC to ensure that they suppress the vote in our stronghold. And all we are calling the police to do is to ensure that they provide security the way they promised, that they will bring men here, some 800 men that are here, right where I am. I don't see the work they are doing to justify their numbers in town.
But when you say intentional deployments by the NDC, what do you mean? Is the NDC deploying the police?
I'm not talking about police deployment. I'm talking about deploying of their people to be at the police station around where I am, Beku Methodist Park. They are here clearly creating obstruction. When I came in initially, when I walked in, there was a fight that broke up between two women, apparently an NDC woman accosted an individual who was trying to get in the line and vote. And that, took about 10 or so minutes to resolve.
So that's the communications director of the NPP, Richard Ahiagba, and the head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, is in the studios with us. Give us a sneak peek of what to expect with the results show.
Of course, which is starting just in the next few minutes across TV and radio, social media, and across my joyonline.com as well. Myself, Winston, Braze, and Blay are on set here. We've done a bit of digging into what we expect, and as we're hearing, there's a bit of results coming through, giving us a sense of who is winning this. We're going to be analyzing that and also giving a sense of what to expect by the time that the final EC results are in. At least this is the election quarters. What we do is to try and anticipate, but also give you results before the Electoral Commission actually also declares it formally. So that is what we're going to be doing now, and then we'll be live on the ground with our reporters who will be joining us with guests who have lined up from the Constituency Collation Center as well. So we're expecting that basically by 7:30 we should have given you a fair sense of who've won this before we hear from the Electoral Commission, the Electoral Commission is telling us that we should expect a formal declaration around 9 p.m. And then post that, we'll do a post-results analysis show all the way possibly to even 11 p.m. So you want to stay with us here on Joy 99.7 FM and also on the Joy News channel.
And that will be right after this break.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That's happy moments listening to your baby's heartbeats at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount daily, weekly, or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170*311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime anytime you recharge yourself with MTN Momo. Keep on talking with that 100% feeling. So, what are we doing today?
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302-764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Media Sambisanda Moa. It's your Ratiano, Moo, and Panet, we fit no Podom Pemon Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No Moo wants me to be just my remember in that day. And the crew, corporate to me number don't be sense or you so accident eba. I had in binding the braye. Who see it in a mobile na some man awarding. Sa, ani na could you soon use so accident chako. Nenny dear a mouse when you could fit that. No what you ask you my mother feel you. Hey, Kojo, sa. Yeah. Pepsodent eba and a Pepsodent chako. A idea. You're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadian Katuyatu.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. Do you know Flamingo paint has superior properties than any other paint brand on the market? Listen, when you take one bucket of Flamingo paint, it's equal to several buckets of any paint brand on the market. So, Flamingo has superior hiding properties, superior coverage, it means it covers, and superior durability. Flamingo paint, superior hiding. Flamingo paint, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Have you noticed that Ghana has suffered lack of attendance at stadia across the country in recent years? Well, the Multimedia Group wants to be part of the solution, which is why we're calling on you, our dear listener, to help us. Our sister station, Inshira FM in Kumasi, has been on a nationwide campaign to identify factors influencing poor patronage of Ghana Premier League matches. This campaign has been widely discussed on traditional and social media since the beginning of the year. And after widespread stakeholder engagement, we have a list of questions in a survey that will help us come out with a communique based on science and data, and we need you to assist by completing this survey. The link to the survey is bit.ly/PhilGPL questionnaire. Once again, bit.ly/PhilGPL questionnaire. Please help Inshira FM and the Multimedia Group complete the survey in order to have a scientific response to this national problem.
This is your election headquarters. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. We're on myjoyonline.com and all our social media platforms. Shortly, we'll be crossing over to the Joy News channel for the results show. As early jubilation begins for the NDC's James Jachikwe Singh in the just ended Assin North by-election as counting continues. Earlier, the majority leader, Oseiche Mensah, said that the Assin North by-election will be very close, but the NPP will win. He says the governing NPP is hoping to bolster its majority in parliament, and adding the Assin North seat will take its numbers in the House 138 plus the independent MP. Well, this is what he told my colleague, Kweku Asante.
We spent some time, about 2 days, in the communities along the main roads. Those are major settlements. My impression is that the NDC, the NPP is on top in those areas. But I would say in the region of about 60 to 40% in favor of the NPP. I went to some of the village settlements, and to be honest, there I saw that the NDC, the 3 settlements that I visited, it appears the NDC is also stronger in those communities. I would say they're about 55 to 45% in favor of the NDC in those the 3 rural communities that I visited. And that is why I'm saying That's going to be a dicey, very close contest. I believe that it will triumph. But as I said, it can't be in thousands. It will be a few hundreds. But I guess the kind of activities that have gone on there should inure to the benefit of the MPP.
Well, so my colleague Kwekwa Sante is with us in the studios. He's also been interacting with the ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee, Vincent Opon-Samoa. He disputes the account of the majority leader. He insists, despite the NPPs engaging in vote buying amongst others, the NDC will retain the seat.
I was also there on Saturday and up to Sunday. I also went to some of the villages, and if you ask, I would say we are also ahead of them. After 5 o'clock, you know what the figures will be coming out. We know exactly what is going to happen. I think they love Joe Kwesi so much. They like Kwesi so much. And looking at what he's going through, especially the media, the legal front, most of them would like to vote for him. At least they are saying that they even want another by-election because they know once it's by-election, MPP will be there and will pour in the resources. And we could see it. Wherever you went on Saturday, Sunday, you could see cars loading goods all over the place. Yes, I even have some of the pictures on my phone in the tipper trucks.
So this is your election headquarters. I'll take you live to the Joy News channel now for the results show.
Is your election headquarters, and we are back. The results are trickling in fast. This election is so crucial that members of parliament abandoned parliament to be in Assin North constituency. We had Big Short manning polling center. Soon we will know the fruit of their hard labor. Who wins the Assin North constituency? We will know shortly. I'm joined by Evans Mensah, the head of our political desk, and his deputy Winston Amwa, the two big heads. They are here. Also, I have Joseph Akable, a member of the political desk, is also here with me today. This obviously is your election headquarters. We have the brightest and the sharp political analyst in the country to help us know exactly what is going on in Assin North. Yes, Joy News knows how to cover elections. So join us on social media. When you tweet at the hashtag ElectionHQ on any of the social media platforms, add hashtag ElectionHQ. Okay, so gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
Thank you. Before I come to you, so we look into the results, let's go to the ground to get details on what's happening, is like an update on the election processes. Richard Kwajo Nyako is in Assin Breku for us. Richard, what has been happening there since we left you the last time?
Well, so Aisha, you can tell from the sounds you are hearing at the background, people are obviously excited, but the excitement seems to come from the side of the National Democratic Congress. They feel that everything has been done. Joe Kwesi has conquered. He came, he saw, he conquered, and there is massive jubilation. In fact, the jubilation started on a very low key from a few people, and then it went deep into